Hello students, I am Dr. Hind Vande, Jamuni College, Hajipur, and also associate professor together working as principal of the Jamuni College, Hajipur. So today I will talk on Fabry Perot Interferometer, which is a topic assigned for the study of BSc Physics Honours Hall, second paper. So let us start with introduction, theory of formation of fringes and sharpness of fringes and application. So these four headings will be there to be discussed for this topic of Fabry Perot Interferometer. So in fact it has been given as Fabry Perot Interferometry, but this is an instrument named simply as Fabry Perot Interferometer. So let us see what happens with this Fabry Perot, what it does. So in fact this interferometer is a sensitive instrument used for many purposes. It is especially suited for determination of wavelength. Means how much is the wavelength we can accurately and very sensitively determine with this interferometer. That is why we say that it is suited for determination of wavelength with sufficient accuracy. It has a high resolving power. Resolving power means that very two close wavelength and lines, spectral lines, can be easily separated, can be easily spin separated. So this is the measure of resolving power, high resolving power. It can also be used for obtaining a standard meter like the microwave interferometer. So in microwave interferometer also we measure or decide the standard meter. So here also we can do with the help of Fabry Perot interferometer the graduation and a standardization of a meter. So come to the next point and see the schematic diagram of it, how it works. So what happens that there is an extended source of light, and you see in the picture from this P1, point P1, a beam is incident on the plate AB, making an angle theta with the horizontal. So this light enters into this air film in between the two parallel plates Q1 and Q2. These two parallel plates are thinly coated. The parallel plates are thinly coated and transmitted rays are there passing through the convex lens and finally interfering with each other make interference fringes on a screen. So this is the overall view of the instrument. So next, come to the next point. The front face of the plate Q1 and the outside face of the plate Q2 are also parallel to each other, but they are inclined to the silver faces. See, this is a very important point here. Though the inside of these two parallel plates are thinly coated, but the outside of these two plates, that is Q1 and Q2, are inclined to the silver faces. Why? They are also parallel. The outside faces are also parallel to each other, but they are inclined to the silver faces because this is to avoid interference effects that would occur due to multiple reflection and refraction. Now, to explain the formation of fringes, we just take two rays, two transmitted rays. As you see in the picture, figure 2, that the same light is incident making an angle theta with the parallel plate, and that beam is AB. It transmits through the plate Q1 and again goes inside the air film and makes multiple reflection. But we are concerned here with only two transmitted beam, and with the help of this we see how is this bright or dark fringes will be made. So for any fringe to be made, there must be calculation of path difference and phase difference. So how much is the phase difference and how much is the path difference between these two transmitted beams? So we calculate the path difference between these two transmitted rays. Consider from the figure 2 that this is equal to mu, bracket is started, B dash C dash plus C dash D dash under bracket closed minus B dash E. Let it be first equation. So finally we find it equal to B dash C dash plus C dash D dash under bracket minus B dash E. But here we must know that refractive index of air is 1, that is mu is equal to 1. So we have removed this mu because this is equal to 1 and simply written as B dash C dash plus C dash D dash under bracket minus B dash E. In the figure, D dash is in the line of B dash E as the thickness of the plate is very, very small, because when you see the figure 2, you find D dash slightly away from the line of D dash E. So keep in mind that only to make the things clear, the thickness of the plate has been shown large, but in fact it is very close. That is, D dash E is there in a one line because the thickness of the plate is very, very small. Now come to the triangle B dash C dash. From there you find cos theta is equal to D by BB. In fact, you find it BB dash written in the next line as D by BB. So in fact, what happens? This BB dash is equal to in fact BB, or BB dash we can write finally as D by cos theta. So this is a simple geometry. Now also we find that B dash C dash is equal to D by cos theta as BB dash is equal to B dash C dash. Again come to the next point. B dash C dash is equal to C dash D dash. See the geometry drawn in the figure 2, and that comes equal to D by cos theta. This is equation 4. So with the help of this equation, we find the path difference is given as 2D by cos theta under bracket minus B dash D dash sin theta. And finally what happens? We find it equal to 2D cos theta. Find it equal to 2D cos theta. So when you want to turn it or change into phase difference, so we must multiply the path difference with 2 pi by lambda. And that we have done in equation 6. Now for the bright fringes, what happens? This phase difference must be equal to 2m pi, where m is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. So finally we get 2d cos theta is equal to m lambda, and that is given and marked in equation 7. These bright points will lie on the circumference of a circle. In other words, one gets circular fringes alternatively bright and dark depending upon the phase difference. Right? So when the angle theta is increased, the value of cosine will increase until another maximum is reached, for which m is greater by 1, 2, 3. Thus we have for maxima a series of concentric rings on the screen with point O. Let's assume that this is point O as a center. Such fringes are called fringes of equal inclination. Now come to the next important point: how we measure, how much is the visibility of fringes, how much is the sharpness of fringes made by this Fabry Perot Interferometer. So visibility of fringes is calculated with the help of an equation as given in equation 8, and this is V is equal to I max minus I minimum upon I max plus I minimum. I is the intensity. So intensity is maximum or minimum. So when you make it subtract it and divide it with I max plus I mean, then we find the visibility. In case of Fabry Perot, the transmitted rays are in large number. So IT, that is the intensity coefficient of transmitted light has got an amplitude, and when this amplitude is squared, we find its intensity. So how much is the intensity of that transmitted light is represented by IT is equal to I squared upon under bracket 1 plus T squared sin squared delta by 2 bracket closed, where IT is the intensity of transmitted rays, A is the amplitude of the incident wave, delta is the phase difference, G is the fineness coefficient. See, listen, this term fineness coefficient was given by Fabry Perot, the two scientists who made this Fabry Perot interferometer. But in fact, earlier it was simply fineness, termed as fineness. Now, for a particular value of G square, when this sin delta 2 is equal to 0, we have delta 2 is equal to m phi. That is, I transmitted is equal to maximum. That is equal to A square is equal to I0. As we know, intensity of light beam is equal to the square of its amplitude. Again, when sin delta by 2 is equal to 1, we find IT is minimum, and that is equal to A square bracket started 1 plus G square bracket closed is equal to I minimum. So these are the conditions with the help of which we find this I maximum and I minimum, and finally we get the value of V that comes equal to G square upon 2 plus G square under bracket. But one thing is important here. What is this G here? That we must make it more clear. This G square, in fact, written as, when you derive the equation, it finally comes in the form of G square is equal to 4R square upon 1 minus R square, which is derived from the condition of reflection. Now, coefficient and transmission coefficient of light waves to parallel glass plate of a Fabry Perot interferometer is to be calculated or considered. A light figuring on the interferometer plate that inside increases the value of R. See, G square is equal to 4R square upon under bracket 1 minus R square, the whole squared, in fact, is nothing but the description of how much is the coefficient of reflectivity, reflection you can say. So a light figuring gives us low value of R, low value of coefficient of reflection. So a light figuring on the interferometer plate inside increases the value of R. That is, reflection is more. So if R approaches the value 1, then the fineness coefficient G square tends to a large value. See, this thing here. This is slightly important, because when you make this R greater, you find the denominator decreasing and the numerator increasing. So finally what happens? We find value of G square increasing. So in fact, a light figuring on the interferometer plate increases the value of G square. In fact, this must be corrected. So if R approaches the value 1, then the fineness coefficient G square is equal to 4 square under bracket 1 minus R square, R whole square tends to a large value. For large G, this intensity maximum becomes more pronounced. So what occurs to the value of visibility of fringes then? We know V is equal to G square upon 2 plus G square is equal to 1 upon 1 plus 2 by G square. So as G increases, V increases. The conclusion is that in Fabry Perot interferometer, sharp circular fringes are obtained if the interferometer plates are lightly silvered. If the plates are thickly silvered, that is more coating is thick, so reflection is more than 90%. The reflection of light is more than 90% in the air film. In that case, though R becomes unity, there will be approximately a stage of no transmission, means all the light that has been trapped inside the parallel air film will not get transmitted through the plate. So that is why R is maintained between 0.8 to 0.9 by taking recourse to the thin silvering, that is between 80% to 90% value. So, and it is not made 100%. In case when it is made 100%, there will not be any transmission of light through the plate Q2 and no fringes will be seen. So, this is very important. Now, applications of Fabry Perot Interferometer. So, applications are determination of a small wavelength difference. That is, when we want to decide the wavelength difference between two respective lines. So, this Fabry Perot Interferometer is important. It can be done with that instrument. Second thing is a study of hyperfine structure of a spectral line. So, a study when we want to study the hyperfine structure of a spectral line, we make use of Fabry Perot Interferometer. But here, hyperfine structure is very important to understand. Hyperfine structure means when there is hidden, where there is hidden more number of spectral lines, we can very easily make it exposed, make it known with the help of this interferometer. For example, in case of sodium light, we have two more inner lines, that is G1 and G2. That is 5890 and 5896 angstrom. These are the two more lines hidden in the sodium light. So, with the help of this Fabry Perot Interferometer, we can further find out how much is that spectral line in terms of its wavelength, as that is D1 and D2. So, this is known as hyperfine structure. So, a study of hyperfine structure of a spectral line is also done with the help of Fabry Perot Interferometer. Thank you.